This video is brought to you in collaboration with WoWhead.com. Hello everyone! Just as a heads up, in this video we're going to be talking about the Whispers of N'Zoth and what they might mean for the story. That also means that we're going to be talking about all the story that's available within Dragonflight right now, including all of the renowned campaigns. Say that you still need to do them yourself and you don't want to be spoiled. Then be warned, spoilers ahead. As we party in Teldresses, the storyline has us help out the Bronze Dragonflight, as they're dealing with an attack from the Infinite Dragonflight. This resulted in Chromie and Eternus tumbling through time. Running after them, we go further and further back, all the way back to the days of the Black Empire, the days in which the old gods ruled the world of Azeroth. Although, in this specific moment, they're still very much fighting for dominance of the planet with the Elemental Lords, who in turn would lose the fight and become enslaved. For a while, it would be the old gods to dominate the planet, until the arrival of the Pantheon. The Titans were going across the universe, trying to wake up more of their kind, bringing order to the planets, to the universe as they went along. The old gods would lose their war against the Titans and the Keepers. Their enslaved elemental lords were sent off into their own newly created elemental planes. With the elements that were left behind, they evolved into what we call the Proto-Dragons, while the old gods were locked away in subterranean prisons. This is the history known to us, and yet we should be careful, as the information provided by the Titans about these days are supposedly not true. We found a journal within the Urman revamped dungeon which reads, "All historical records documenting the advancements of the Black Empire are to be purged. Paint that age as one of chaos and misery, a pernicious blight that we keepers eradicated. With the old gods locked in confinement, there should be no evidence available to contradict our assertions. Surely, if you care for these mortals, you would not wish to see them led astray into darkness." That's what the Edicts of the Prime Designate, volume 742 tells us. That's not the subject for today though. Today we're going to be talking about some of the whispers that are thrown at us while being in this time period, while being back in the days of the Black Empire. We got whispers from an observing Kafun.
Your friends will abandon you.
A maddening Yaxaron.
You will be alone in the end.
And piercing Yashiraj.
Your allies will leave you behind.
Not any new material, these whispers have been thrown out before. But then there's the knowing presence of N'Zoth.
I know you. What you were. What you will yet be. Deeper. Deeper its roots will reach. Welcoming our embrace. With many eyes, they will see again. They will drink and be uplifted. You will follow him to the deep places. The dark waters will flow in his wake. Her dreams sing beneath the surface. Our dreams. Our song.
The possibilities are endless when it comes to these whispers. The Void deals in 1,000 truths after all, so per usual, all I can give you is my take on things. Maybe offer some insight with some extra lore attached. By all means, let me know what you're thinking as well. I know you. What you were. What you will yet be. It's not cryptic, but it does say a lot. N'Zoth the Knower recognizes us. We're here in the past, some of us perhaps still sporting his gift, others merely touched and glanced afterwards. And by gazing upon us, he can see what came before, and even what will be. Now, I'm not sure if that necessarily changes anything of the story told so far. I don't know if that's the point of this whisper. Rather, I'd say the point that would be that his whispers not only apply to the past, where he is in right now, but that he can also apply to the future. The future he has not witnessed yet. The future that not even we ourselves have gone through yet. say that it is about him knowing us even back when, knowing that by the time we confront him within Nyalotha and he would know full well that he would lose, that could imply that he didn't lose. Rather, he's playing one of the 1,000 possibilities in which the Void would still come out on top. On top of that, we do have time travel going on, the possibility of the timeline not changing from our point of view, but there's just a whole bunch of headache waiting to happen. So this line, I would say that either it opens up the possibility for our N'Zoth to whisper about things that are yet to come, or perhaps he did know more than he let on during a confrontation, and he didn't actually lose anything.
My vision shall be made real. Complete the circle. Open the way.
For an old god who claims to see everything, you are blind to the threat before you.
Her dreams sing beneath the surface. Our dreams, our song. For the her, I'm putting my money on the world soul of Azeroth, that Titan spirit inside, as Sargeras coming upon a different soul. It's been described like this. He was drawn to the remote corner of the Great Dark, where cold void energies radiated out from a black and desiccated world. There, Sargeras found enormous beings he had never seen, festering across the world's surface. These were the old gods, and they had emmed themselves in the world and shrouded it in a veil of void energies. With growing hotter, Sargeras realized that this was not just any world. He heard the world soul dreaming within its core, but these were not the joyous dreams Sargeras recognized from other world souls. They were dark and horrific nightmares. The old god's tendrils had burrowed deep, enveloping the slumbering Titan spirit in shadow.
Her dreams sing beneath the surface. Quiet now, but her voice will awaken the others.
That line is from Sazura, an Atoma oracle of Zereth Mortis. This and some other bits and pieces, and the people wonder what exactly is hiding within Azeroth. Could it be that the predescribed spirit of Azeroth could also be a so-called first one rather than a Titan? Well, again, in the world of speculation, anything goes, but a lot of sources would have to be wrong about what they've spoken with. Think, for example, a Magni Bronzebeard, or how the blood of Argus works similarly to the blood of Azeroth, which was called Azerite. There are a lot of sources that describe her as a Titan. But again, retcons are not impossible. False information has been given out. We also have the description of the time when Agramar found Azeroth. It was during these long and lonely journeys that Agramar sent something extraordinary. The tranquil dreams of a slumbering world soul billowing across the cosmos. The song of life led him to a world that the Pantheon had not yet discovered. A world that would lay the name Azeroth. Nestled within the world's core was one of Agramar's kin. One far more powerful than any yet encountered. The spirit was so mighty that Agramar sensed his dreams, even through the din of activity that rattled across the world's surface. Yet as Agramar drew closer to Azeroth and beheld the world, horror seized him. Void energy shrouded the world's surface like a layer of diseased flesh. From the ruined landscape, the old gods and the Black Empire. Miraculously, the nascent Titan spirit remained uncorrupted, but Agramar knew it was only a matter of time before it succumbed to the void. This whisper, it's telling us that the old gods have taken over, which I would say applies to this time frame, this timeline. They are in control right now, and they would corrupt the world for millennia to come until the arrival of Agramar and the Titans. If we want to take this whisper into the future, you do open up more interesting possibilities, as now you gotta wonder who has Magni been communicating with. The world's soul, it was judged to be uncorrupted, but Agramar and the work of the Titans and their keepers, that was aimed at giving Azeroth a chance to heal and grow. They brought order, imprisoned the old gods, put machines in place to keep that spirit going and growing. But at the same time, this was the first time they tried to do anything like this. Sargeras thought that there was no other option but purging a Titan spirit once it got infected by the old gods. Perhaps Sargeras was right all along and the Pantheon was wrong. Perhaps there was no saving this spirit after all. Then the part about her dreams. The origin of the domain known as the Emerald Dream is a bit vague. Some say that Keeper Freya wove the Emerald Dream into being from nothing. Others claim that this strange place had always existed in some form, a dream born from Azeroth's slumbering world soul. It is said that Freya tapped into this realm, molded what would become known as the Emerald Dream, as a way to commune with the nascent Titan. Their dream, their song. The old gods connected to the Emerald Dream, and the domain has been given a part in the story of Dragonflight. We've seen the Primalist on the attack, trying to get in there, find the seed hidden by Malfurion and Tyrande. Ystera has come back from the Shadowlands through the Emerald Dream, with Malfurion taking a place in Ardenweald. Marifra must step out of the shadows of her wing, find her place as leader of the Green Dragonflight. A lot of the storylines that are connected to the Emerald Dream.
What is it, my love?
Just a feeling. But this time will be different.
Deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. I've been trying to link this whisper to the Black Empire time period, but I can't really think of roots reaching down and welcoming their embrace. Perhaps once Galacrons was slain, that has been seeping into the ground. I don't really know, but there are other examples later that fit. The Dragon Isles have been shut down for a while because of the world sundering. This happened due to the Night Elves messing around with the Well of Eternity. The War of the Ancients played out, the land sundered apart, and Illidan made a brand new well. To cover that one up, to hide his powers away, the Aspects planted the World Tree Nordersil, and from the boughs of Nordersil, they started to plant all these happy little world trees across the surface of Azeroth. One of them was planted in Northrend, and it touched Yogg-Saron's prison, which caused the Emerald Nightmare to happen, but that storyline seemingly played out already. Why have Nuzov repeat this again? Why have it touched upon again? Unless the Whisper's purpose is to just show that he's able to predict the future. Now, if we draw the Whisper into the current storyline, then another example is easily found. But I'm hard-pressed to actually believe this. Surely they would have messed with the Night Elves again, right? Surely this time will actually be different. And how would it even fit, considering that the old gods are seemingly cleansed of the world of Azeroth, and they're sent back to the domain of the Void? I'm really curious, and this is the one whisper that I couldn't really find a good answer for. Perhaps you have any ideas? With many eyes they will see again. They will drink and be uplifted. We were discussing what would make for a good end-boss fight for Dragonflight. Many of the fingers pointed towards the one and only Galacrons, a proto-dragon that mutated in the days before dragons were even a thing. The being that united our original future aspects together with Keeper Tyr, a creature that grew many eyes, but why exactly? Why did Galacrons mutate and become such a problem? Well, that was because of the old god Yogg-Saron, but also a bit because of Keeper Tyr. You've probably ran the halls of Infusion a couple of times now. Deep beneath Tyrhold, this structure was built upon an ancient wellspring, the waters of which were channeled by Keeper Tyr to feed the life pools of the Red Dragonflight. Khajiit the Unyielding seethes with hatred for Keeper Tyr, for tampering with the ancient wellspring beneath Tyrhold. Waters that once flowed with the eternal essence of Azeroth. They've been polluted by Order magic. Khajiit would see the world freed from the malignant legacy of the Titans at any cost. And to complement all of this, here's a report sent by Tyr to Keeper Loken. Brother Loken, as you requested, I offer the following report on the progress towards our objectives. I'm pleased to say that the halls of Infusion are now operational, though the work of imbuing Order magic into the wellspring is only beginning. I remain optimistic that the process will prove effective. Already, we're detecting reduced levels of contamination. I hope your investigation into how Yogg-Saron compromised these living waters will yield answers. In the meantime, we can be assured that the evolution of another Galacrons will not be triggered by consuming unfiltered water. Once purification is complete, an additional benefit will be found in offering the infused water to dragonkind. By ingesting the water, or causing the X to absorb its effects, it should be possible to keep even the most willful dragon aligned with the Titan's philosophies. Our efforts to bring the proto-dragons in line have faced resistance, but I'm formulating a strategy to speed the process along. Construction of the facility atop the halls of Infusion is proceeding apace. Though the station is to be designated Uldoros, I must reluctantly report that the dragons have taken the call in the structure by the name Tyrhold. I'll do my best to ensure our Titanforge workforce does not also adapt this embarrassing pseudonym, but as of late, they seem to be expressing more and more opinions of their own. In closing, let me underscore once again how fervently I disagree with the assertions of Prime Designate Odin concerning the unsuitability of the dragon aspects. I have every confidence that they will prove fervent allies in our shared goals of keeping the world structured and disciplined. Ever your friends, Keeper Tyr. These waters were touched by Yogg-Saron, which led to the corruption of Galacrons, but we also read about Tyr now infusing the waters with Order magics. Do the aspects know all of this? Do they know that they've been drinking the manipulation juices? If and when we manage to get tier 2.0 up and running, will they have questions for him? Questions about the days that became aspects, about how Galacrons came to be, about the manipulation of the keepers and their goals of keeping everybody aligned with order. The proto-dragons defied the will of the keepers and their alignment to order, but they didn't stop Tyr from experimenting upon them either. He studied carefully how they took in certain elements and questioned if there were any limits to the powers of the elements that they could absorb. He's blaming Yogg-Saron for Galacron's mutation, which might be fair. Those many eyes across his body definitely scream powers of the void. I'm still the proud owner of N'Zoth's gift myself, but where exactly did the necromancy part come from? Why did Galacrons get the power to raise undead? What other experiments did our Tyr possibly perform?
Mysteries within mysteries. Tyr always had a plan.
So according to N'Zoth, the eyes will see again. They will drink and be uplifted. A return of Galacron perhaps? But what will they drink? Cause surely a Gul'dan isn't just going to show up with a bunch of demonic bloods. We have this whisper. You will follow him to the deep places. The dark waters will flow in his wake. I want to do a separate video with all the hints that guide to potential future storylines for Dragonflight, but one of them should be obvious.
Razageth's reckless haste cost her life, and they will not make that mistake again. They will regain their strength and choose their next moment carefully.
Then we must take the fight to them. Strike before they are recovered.
That will be difficult. Iridikron's mastery of the earth will harbor them and keep them out of our reach.
Our big boy threat so far, which started with the unexplained primalist and Razageth, was then followed by the release of her siblings. Fire, ice, and then the hunger of earth await down below. The dark waters will flow in his wake. Potential for the events with Iridikron leading to something with a Galacron, perhaps another mutation, maybe even those roots that we're talking about, and hopefully also a bit more nuance when it comes to the conflict so far, as we so far just align ourselves with the will of the Titans. We also still need to dive into the primalistic point of view. Razageth and the others refused to embrace the will of the Titans, and that conflict led to the dark deeds and eventual imprisonment. But the core problem is still being forced to follow an ideology. How much different was it for the elements to be enslaved by the will of the old gods, to then be enslaved by the will of the Titans? Us mortals, we definitely prospered in a world ordered by the Keepers, and I would still argue that the days of the Black Empire, they wouldn't exactly be healthy for any of us. But from the elements' point of view, for the incarnates, for those who came first, we can definitely see where they come from. However, that's all I got for you today with these new whispers. And like I said, there's many ways of looking at them. For example, some have connected the clutchmate of Ysera and Alexstrasza to make a return. Some have connected the many eyes to Yashira's returning, and per usual, there's a lot of different ways of looking at this information. Also gotta wonder what happened to Zolotov and Azshara. It is nice to have a bit of mystery going on though, wondering what the future might bring. It also got me curious about the whispers of Il'gynoth again, but I'll dedicate a different video to that one, to talk about, okay, so these whispers might have come true, these whispers might still apply, but that will be a different video. So for now, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Say there's one more details on all the things that we talked about today, then check out the related WoWhead article in the description down below. For me, subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time, see ya!